It's the Brian Whitman Podcast Show at brianwhitman.com. Thank you for joining us here every Monday through Friday at brianwhitman.com. Of course, I thank our subscribers who subscribe for $5 a month, less than the cost of a coffee at effing Starbucks. And you get a whole month of Whitman shows for like 25 cents a day. So thank you for joining us. It is February 25th. I have to say happy birthday to Slammin' Sammy Phillips, man.
Hi, you guys.
How you doing, Sam?
Oh, my God, it's my 43rd birthday.
It is her 43rd birthday, and there's no way to not know that because she mass emails everyone she knows that it's her birthday. When I met Sam, she's the first person I ever knew. I had not known anyone before meeting her. First person I ever met who throws birthday parties for herself.
Yeah, she's a unique girl. Oh, Sammy. But,
and you know what she did, Randy Wang? And by the way, you got some nice emails, some compliments. They like it when I call you Bitch Tits Wang.
Well, that works for you. That works for me.
All right. So, Bitch Tits. She sends me a Facebook. Will you be at Sam Phillips' 43rd birthday party at so-and-so and so-and-so? Yes, no, or maybe. And you know me. I don't want to commit. I clicked maybe, and I sent it to her. Uh-huh. She went ballistic. Like maybe was a horrible answer that I should have, typed absolutely positive. I should have hacked into the system to make absolutely positively, without a doubt, won't miss it an option and should have clicked that. She's a little nuts.
Well, here's how nuts she is. On a Facebook invite, it'll tell you how many people she sent this invite to. She sent it to 550 people.
Sam Phillips throwing those birthday parties for herself, man. I said it, man. Ah, God damn it, man.
But Sammy's parties are usually pretty fun. Usually a lot of weird celebrities you'll meet. Like last year I met Kid from Kid and Play and Ron Jeremy.
Wow. Normally I wouldn't go to Sammy's party, but given what happened last week, which we still have not talked about on the podcast.
Yeah, when are we going to have her back on to talk about you guys banging?
I think she needs to score more weed before she'll come back.
I'll hook her up.
So, since, in light of what happened, in light of what she did for the show and what she did for me.
Really?
I think I should probably attend.
Now, when you say attend, does that mean you're going to drive there, or are you going to beg me to take you?
I'm going to beg you to drive me there, and then beg someone to drive me home. I'm not big on driving. It's not that I get drunk. I don't get drunk at these events. I just don't like driving on the freeway, but it goes on to like 2 a.m, and she's throwing her own birthday party. So do I bring her a present?
Yeah, you got to bring her a present. She also is going to set up a donation box, help pay for Sammy's party. She just lost her job.
But you know what? That's totally screwed up. That is totally effed up and weird.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
By the way, the people she's invited, most of them, have also just lost their jobs. So there should be 700 donation boxes.
Exactly. But, what can you do? It's Sammy.
What is wrong with her?
She's broke.
Sure.
She's broke and she still wants to throw a huge party.
For herself.
Yeah.
Inviting people to join her.
Yeah.
At her party.
Yeah.
Last time I ever had a party for my birthday was my 30th birthday, and my girlfriend threw it. And we went to Dan Tana's in West Hollywood, California, with my girlfriend and a friend of hers, a good friend of ours. And when I got there, 2 of my best friends, a married couple, they were also there, surprised me there. So it was like a nice kind of little subtle surprise party. We all sat and had dinner together, and it was great. And that's the last birthday party I had, and that was 6 years ago.
Wow.
She does this every year. She's done it every year I've known her. She's thrown herself a birthday party.
Yeah, for the last 3 years, I've had to build the invites.
On the computer?
Yeah.
Now, Bitch Tits, would you call what she's doing self-serving?
Of course, but that's Sam in a nutshell. She's self-serving. And also serving 550 guys a night.
She's in the service industry.
Yeah.
Self-service and service of others. I'm Brian Whitman. It's the Brian Whitman podcast show at brianwhitman.com. Thanks to the subscribers. We have emails. We got a lot of emails. How about this email that came in? If you want to email me, my email address is my name, emailwhitman@gmail.com. That's emailwhitman@gmail.com. If you have a technical question of any kind, you email Randy Wang. His email address is his name, Randy Wang, the number 2, @gmail.com. Randy Wang, the number 2, @gmail.com. And I want to stress that because I'm getting Facebook messages from people who are saying, I've tried 2 times to sign up to give you your measly $5 and I can't get through the system. And I just give them your email address hoping you'll take care of it. And you do.
Yeah, I take care of it.
Bitch just takes care of it. This comes from Miklos. Brian David Whitman. That's how he starts it. You're a big effing stud and you have a big wiener, dude. Just wanted to let you guys know we're listening here in Japan, man. Yeah, man. I'm not adding that. He writes that. I read on Conway's site that he's coming back, man. Please say you're joining him. Babu. Start your own radio station and bring Jerry Wachowski back. Signed, Miklos. Well, Sausage Fingers is going to be a guest on the podcast. He will come on for sure. I had a great conversation with Tim Conway Jr. last night. We had many conversations. If I were in a more emotional state, I would have wept at some of the beautiful things he said to me. He was he was so nice to me. And you will have an opportunity to hear Tim Conway again very soon. He's always welcome here on the podcast, and I'm sure he'll do that. And who knows what the future holds. But the regular radio, I think you'll hear him there too. And that's all I'm going to say. I think you'll hear him on the regular radio as well. I really do.
Check out TimConwayJr.com March 1st.
That's right, TimConwayJr.com. His website is his name, www.timconwayjr.com. My website is my name, www.brianwhitman.com.
Hey, Tom, what's your website?
My website is my name, blowmeuptom.com. You know who was great to see the other night at the final KLSX show who I hadn't seen in about a year? In the pink tie with the pink shirt with the makeup, the TV makeup, in the suit.
Paul Majors?
Yeah, man. Paulie Majors. This is a great guy. He used to go on Conway and Steckler. He'd come on when it was Conway and Whitman. Then he went on when it was just Conway. And they'd invite us over to KCAL 9 all the time. And we'd hang with Paul Majors, who's a great guy. But some news anchors don't get along like Paul Majors and Laura Diaz.
They don't.
Have you ever heard the classic audio of Paul Moyer and Ann Martin?
Yeah.
You have heard it, right?
It's so great.
This audio is so great. It's been on the internet for a long time, so, I'm going to play it. Apparently, Mark Germain, a.k.a. Mr. KABC, who's all mad at me now for a crazy reason. I love the guy so much. Mark, you're listening. I know you're a subscriber. I love you. I would never hurt you. I didn't withhold information from you. I would never try to hide a phone number from you. I'm above 5th grade nonsense like that. For God's sake, answer my phone. You know what it does to me, bitch tits, when people treat me like this.
Yes.
It makes me...
You can't stop talking about it. You go crazy. You can't focus on anything else because somebody was rude to you on the phone.
Well, not rude to me because they don't like me or they're mad at me.
Yeah.
And I want the world to love me.
Yeah.
I want to be loved by the world.
It's not going to happen.
You're right. It's not going to happen. It is not going to effing happen, man. But Paul Majors does not get into fights with Laura Diaz, but Paul Moyer and Ann Martin. Hi, I'm Paul Moyer. I used to do Paul Moyer. I think we have some of these. I used to do Paul Moyer on Ryan Seacrest's morning show after he took over for Rick Dees. Do we have Paul Moyer? Let me look at the list of audio files. I know we have me calling Ryan Seacrest as Paul Moyer. What I would do is call and do promos for the news tonight at 11 o'clock. We have 2.
By the way, you know what I'm noticing right now, Brian? You squint with one eye. It's real creepy.
I was a pirate.
Like, literally, you have one eye wide open, the other eye squinting. It's weird looking.
No, because my vision is, I have like 20/80 vision. My right eye is very good. My left eye very bad. My right eye can see things in the distance. My left eye can see things up close, but not in the distance.
Do it yourself a favor. Never wink at people. Ever. Please.
All right. So here's what I want you to play right here, just to give you an idea of the Paul Moyer little comedy bits I used to do on the Ryan Seacrest morning show at Kiss FM. There's, I think it's called Paul Moyer, Another Plug, Colleen Williams. Will you play that?
Let's play it.
So let's make a note right here. Here it comes. This is, I don't know exactly how this starts or ends, but it's me on the Ryan Seacrest show doing my very mediocre Paul Moyer imitation, calling in, talking about Colleen Williams. This is how it sounded.
And, of course, sweeps on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Moyer from NBC Channel 4. Apparently the plugs are working because he's been calling my cell, leaving messages.
Oh, good.
He called again. Here's the follow-up.
Hi, Ryan. How are you, buddy? It's Paul Moyer. I'm over here at News 4. I've been checking the overnight numbers. I can tell your early morning plugs on KISS are really helping out, and I appreciate it. The other night, we had the exclusive video for the kitchens of Southland restaurants. Last night, we had the Valet Parkers Gone Wild, and tonight at 11, you're not going to believe the shocking segment we have for you. Never-before-seen video of Colleen Williams Gone Wild.
Ooh.
After a few too many drinks at a family party, it's the Colleen you've never known tonight at 11. Oh, and by the way, Ryan, stay away from your refrigerator. There's something in there that can kill you. All the details when Colleen and I get together tonight at 11.
Everything is centered around 11, isn't it?
Yeah, everything. I think his
From
whole
News
life.
4? Yeah. He left one more.
Oh.
Oh, and by the way, buddy, would you like to come over for a little wine tonight at about 11:45, 15 minutes after Colleen and I wrap up the 11 o'clock newscast? Let me know, buddy. Tonight, 11:45.
Hola amigos, this is Sofia Vergara and you're on air with Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah, so Paul loved those plugs. They helped him out.
That's great.
On the 11 o'clock newscast. I'm Paul Moyer tonight when I get together with Colleen right before the news begins at 10:45 in my dressing room. But let's get to news anchors. Let's get to Paul Moyer. Not getting along with his co-anchor. He gets along with Colleen Williams, I think, well. But he was teamed for a while. It was Paul Moyer and Ann Martin.
Oh, boy.
If you have never heard this piece of audio, some sound guy who deserves a check for $1 million kept the mics on and kept the sound reels rolling as literally seconds before they went on the air, Paul Moyer and Ann Martin had a fight. And my understanding is, I don't know this for a fact, so I have to say I don't know it's a fact. My understanding is they were fighting over who's going to lead, who's going to read the first news story.
Jesus Christ.
The fight was over. You know, these people making millions of dollars, like, who's going to read the first story tonight?
God, what egos.
And then Paul Moyer mentions Roger Bell. I think it's Roger Bell. We'll talk to Roger Bell, who I think was the news director. And then you hear Paul Moyer, like with real anger, he's stapling together his news. And it's like this that you hear. He's taking his anger out on the stapler. You got to listen to this. It is classic audio. If you're in Los Angeles, a subscriber at brianwhitman.com, or if you're anywhere in the country, this is what news anchors, this is sometimes what happens right before they go on the air. And the beauty of this clip, right after their big fight, boom, they go right on the air like there's no problem. Listen to what I like to call the Paul Moyer Ann Martin throwdown.
First segment.
It's done that way all the time.
It
That's
frequently
what I was
is. It frequently
Well,
is.
then we better
Do you
talk
hear me
about it.
complaining about it?
Then we better talk
Tonight
about
I'm
it.
complaining because tonight I
Then
said,
we better
hey,
talk about it because I
I
think you've got a
agree.
problem. I think we've got a problem. All right? If that's what you think, then we'll talk about it after the show, and we'll talk about it with Roger Bell. Because I'm not going to sit here night after night and put up with this shit. Okay?
Night after night? Night after night?
Well,
Where,
that-
what,
it
let's,
looks
how
to
much,
me like that's the way it's going to go,
I'll
Ann.
take the ante up a little higher than that even. You're not only wrong, you're way out of line.
Let me tell you something.
You
kiddo.
started it, pal.
You want Harold Green, you might get him. And then
That's
you're-
fine with
and-
me. Fine
Oh, is
with
it really?
me. Good old
Oh.
Harold Green.
Okay. Okay. You want to start dealing with shit? Go ahead. That's what you want. You just might get it. You know, you go home and have a couple of shooters, and I don't know what the fuck happens, but when you come back, you're not the same lady.
That's not true.
Some nights it is, Ann.
When news happens, you see it happen on Channel 7. The #1 station for news and information in Southern California. Now, Paul Moyer, Ann Martin, Johnny Mountain Weather, and Todd Donahoe Sports. This is Eyewitness News Tonight.
3 men dead tonight in an execution-style murder in Los Angeles. Good evening.
Is that embarrassing?
That is crazy.
I mean, is that embarrassing or what?
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, I do have another piece of embarrassing audio of a broadcaster. This is a radio broadcaster and a really good friend of mine named Al Rantel at Oh, no, look, you're exactly right. Al Rantel on KABC, who started to do a show at 11 a.m. and totally lost his voice. But tried, and I don't do this to be mean because Al knows I love him, tried to get through the beginning of his show, but couldn't talk. Like there was something wrong with his voice. Not like Tom at Camacho sounding like this. He was like choking and couldn't speak, but he just kept going because he's such a professional. Since we're playing kind of outtakes of broadcasters, the Paul Moyer, Ann Martin, you never heard on the air, but this you heard on the air, live on KABC. Al Rantel choking his way through the introduction of his radio show. You gotta listen to this.
And a very good morning, everybody. 5.5 minutes after 11 o'clock. It is Wednesday morning here on the Al Rantel Show, and we're delighted to have you with us. Thanks for being here. We're here till Paul Harvey time, and then Sean Hannity time. Am I choked up already? I am. I don't know what got into me there. Sean Hannity time at noon. My. What happened there? Swallowed the wrong way, guys. Sorry about that. All right. Did you catch the story in New York City, what happened last night at the Yankees baseball game? Just a little story about this, just to show you. We've talked about the lack of class that some people have, especially on the left.
How about that? Is that unbelievable? You got to hand it to the guy, though, for hanging in there. The Al Rantel Show, something went down the wrong pipe there, folks. Wow. Don't know what that was. Don't quite know what that was. Here at Talk Radio 790 KBC, Sean Hannity time, Paul Harvey time here on KBC. What a classic piece of audio. The guy kept going. He didn't hit the dump button.
That's so great.
He didn't even hit the dump button.
Well, he couldn't. He was choking.
Yeah, I guess, well, if his hands were working, how about the engineer hits the dump button to save the guy a couple of moments of, uncomfortability, for lack of a better. Is that a word?
Maybe the engineer was just in shock. Maybe Al's arms were flailing about and just freaking out.
Oh, no, I'm choking. No, help me out. Oh, the engineer was a liberal, and he was trying to sabotage me like all these liberals do. Here at Talk Radio 790 KABC. All right, where the ABC stands for Always Blame Clinton. Or as I said the other day, always be conservative, unless you're Brian Whitman. I did 7 years there as a liberal.
Yeah, look at you.
Not bad, right?
No.
They hung on to me as a liberal. But I love radio people. I love Al Rantel. I talked to him on the phone the other day. Hadn't talked to him in about a year, and it was like we had talked the day before. We just picked up where we left off. And another LA radio person who I love, who has passed away, God bless her. She went to heaven way too soon. The great Tracy Miller, who was on KFI and was on KBC, and I believe was on 710 The Zone. I was, this is a great story. I think I told Conway this story once. I was friendly with Tracy Miller. We had done shows together. I think we had done the morning show. We had filled in on KABC on the morning show. And I said, Tracy, let's go to dinner in my neighborhood. There's a great Italian restaurant. I'd love to take you to dinner. And she said, great, let's go. So we go to this restaurant, and Tracy Miller on the air was phenomenal, and in person was equally phenomenal, and had you laughing, and such a great personality. And I just love and miss Tracy Miller, and I regret that we had such a great dinner, and being so busy and caught up with the daily activities of life didn't develop the friendship that I really wish I would have, especially now that she's passed away. But I know where she is. If anyone got to heaven, Tracy Miller did. That is for sure. She and I went to this restaurant, and we're sitting there, and it's an Italian restaurant. And this is like an only in L.A. story. The waiter comes up, and he starts young guy, and I'm going to say, I tell you, I'm not a homophobe, dude, but a handsome young man who's a waiter, probably about 30 years old. And he starts reading the specials and takes drink orders and all, and he steps away. And Tracy Miller says to me, "My God, doesn't he look like a young Kelsey Grammer? Doesn't he look like a young Frasier?" And I said, I don't know. I didn't pay that much attention. I mean, and then I start looking at him across the restaurant. I said, well, maybe he does. Maybe he does look like a young Frasier, a young Kelsey Grammer. She says, I think he does. So he comes back, he brings the drinks, he brings the appetizers to the table, and he's coming back. And every time he comes back and walks away, Tracy Miller says to me again, it's just the two of us at dinner, she says, he looks like Frasier. He looks like a young Kelsey Grammer. So eventually the guy comes and he brings the entrees and he puts them down in front of us. And Tracy Miller, as a joke, says, "Hey, I saw you on television last night. I watched you on TV last night." Frasier. Uh-huh. And the guy goes, "Oh, you did?" And he laughs and he goes, "That stuff, it's all softcore. It's all softcore." And I really needed the money. And I mean, it was, all softcore. It was all simulated. And you should have seen Tracy Miller's face, because this guy had her pegged as some woman who sits at home alone watching, like, Skinamax or Showtime. He's like, no, it was all softcore, and I was just in a spot in my life. I just really needed the cash, and it was so funny. It cracked me up.
It's a great story.
But we couldn't laugh in front of him. I mean, because you couldn't. I mean, the guy's telling you he did porn or pretty close to porn, like Sam Phillips type porn. And because Sam Phillips never did real porn.
No, just Skinamax.
Right.
As she calls it, TNA movies.
Oh, God. Make sure you go to Sam Phillips' birthday party. Who's throwing it for her? Sam Phillips. Oh, Bob. Boo! So that'll happen tonight. I guess I have to go. If I don't go, she'll never talk to me. But
that might be a good thing.
Yeah, I got a lot of people not talking to me. Mr. KBC is really upsetting me. I'm going to try him on his cell phone right now and see if he answers. I don't know why he's so pissed at me. I invited him to be on the podcast, and we have great guests coming up on the podcast. The great comedian Tom Dreesen, who toured the world with Frank Sinatra for 13 years. He was Frank Sinatra's opening act. Tim Conway Jr. will be on the podcast. He and I had such a Randy, you know Conway.
I know Conway.
And I know Conway. He said stuff to me, and he said, dude, I want you to know I'm totally sober. I have not had a beer. I'm about to have my first beer. This is all from the heart. And, like, he was just, oh, God, if I talk about it, I'll, it will happen.
On a side note, though, how much do you think he's lost already in Vegas?
He told me he wasn't going to gamble too much.
Did you believe that?
When he said it, I believed it. All right, I'm calling Mr. KBC's cell phone number right now. And it's ringing, and he won't answer. If he does, I'll be thrilled. Oh, God. I can't have people being my enemy. I have a tough time taking criticism.
Yeah, I've noticed, Brian.
Like when Jack Silver attacked me on the Frosty Heidi Frank show.
But not only that, you get freaked out by listener emails that don't like you.
Yeah, I'm a little sensitive. He's not going to answer the phone. Hello? No. And I don't understand. And I don't understand it. I don't understand it, man. I've told him 100 times, you can't come out of those up-tempo records, man. It's impossible to make those transitions. All right, Casey. I shouldn't do that because Carrie Kasem's going to come on the show.
Really?
Yeah, we'll get Carrie Kasem in here. John Asher, married for 7 years to Jenny McCarthy. He hit that pretty hard. They have a son together. We're going to get Shotgun Tom and your automobile baby. The guru of Los Angeles radio, Don Barrett, who knows everything about everybody in radio, their private lives, their personal lives, any affairs they may have had, divorce proceedings, separations, out-of-wedlock children. He's got it all. Jerry Wachowski, old sausage fingers. Rick Dees. I talked yesterday to Kevin Dees, the son of Rick Dees, so he'll come by. Mr. KBC, I got to put a question mark here now because I don't know that he'll come on. Stephanie Miller should come on. Jamie White.
Oh, boy.
I think will be on the Brian Whitman podcast show. Frank Kramer here.
Is Jamie going to bring tambourines?
If she wants to, it'll be all right. No, actually, it can't be. She can't because we do the podcast in my effing backyard. I can't inconvenience my neighbors.
Thank God.
So I got to tell her no tambourines, baby. And maybe how are you, Doug McIntyre? How are you? How are you? How are you? How are you? It's McIntyre in the morning, right here at Talk Radio 790 KABC. After listening to him do the overnight show for a long time, I would notice he would say things like, Susan in North Hollywood. Susan, how are you? Bill in Sherman Oaks. Bill, how are you? Harold in Culver City. Harold, how are you? So I started imitating him on the air because that's what I do.
Yes.
I don't do it so people get pissed off at me and don't like me. Thank you. Although some do. But I would do the, how are you? I do, Doug McIntyre. It's a lot like Jack Nicholson. Doug McIntyre in the morning. How are you? So when I started doing it on the air, how are you? How are you? How are you? I talked to him on the phone at 15 minutes before the podcast, and he answered the phone. I said, hey, Doug, it's Whitman. He went, how are you? So then he changed it to how are you? How are you? Bill in North Hollywood, how are you? But then after I left the station and the how are you, how are you, how are you wasn't coming at him like 24/7, he fell back into his default position, which is,
how are you?
How are you? How are you? How are you? How are you? So Sammy's party's tonight, and then we got to get Sammy back in here because I'm going to pay off that tease, I promise. Sam and I had a night. We embarked upon sexual relations. And we're going to review each other. We promised we would do that. But we've been really busy. You and I, the other day, because we bought a lot of, I bought a lot of technology and gear for the Brian Whitman podcast show at brianwhitman.com. It's only $5 for an entire month of shows. Tell your friends. And I saw some a-hole right on the message board. If I want to tell my friends, because I think it's that good, I'll tell my friends. Don't tell me what to tell my friends.
Don't read that stuff.
So, you know what? Tell your friends. It's $5. And if you go to the Corolla message board, they're like, what's $5? It's $5. Then I felt bad. Some guy got on there and said, I literally don't have $5, and I wanted to buy his subscription. Mm-hmm. I could do that, right?
Yeah, we could hook him up.
All right, okay, so don't start emailing me asking me to buy your subscriptions, please. Email Whitman@gmail.com. My email address is my name, emailwhitman@gmail.com. So we have to do that, but you and I were busy after I bought all this gear. We had to go back to the Apple store.
Oh, yeah.
And that was, describe that, going into the Apple store for a return. You and I went, I spent $2,300 on an S-load of stuff. And it's not that they're great, Apple makes great products. Just didn't work for what we're doing here. So I had to bring it back and get my $2,287 refund to my credit card. Describe that experience, bitch tits, Randy Wang.
So Brian and I walk in the Apple store over at the Sherman Oaks Fashion Square.
How about before we even got there? Was I amped up?
Yeah.
Was I amped 97.1 up?
Yes, you were amped 97.1 up.
No, was I amp radioed up?
You're amp radioed up. So
live. Amp radio 97.1. Lock it in.
They're looking for jocks, Brian.
And rip the nub off.
Send in your air check.
Are they looking for jocks?
Yeah.
I should call over there. Kevin Weatherly doing it?
Yeah.
But I'm not a disc. I was a disc jockey.
Can you spin Kanye?
I can spin. Look, if I can spin Cantaloupe, I know it's a free sample on the website, but we're going to drop it in here. If Amp Radio wants to know if I can be a disc jockey, this is 18, 19 years old, teenage disc jockey, Brian Whitman in Philadelphia. I drive from Staten Island, New York to Philadelphia. You want to know if I can talk up records? You want to know?
I want to know.
Listen to this.
Today's best mix, the new sound of Eagle 106, Brian Whitman with Regina Bell and Peebo Bryson. From the movie Aladdin, here's A Whole New World. I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid, like to do. Today's best mix, the new sound of Eagle 106, Brian Whitman just got off the phone with my main man, Jeff Krause, who was at the vet today. In his very own words, it was hammer time for the Redskins. Got scalped 17-14. More stopless music happening next. To George from Beth in Montgomery County. 10,000 Maniacs at the new sound of Y100. The new sound of Y100 on Brian Whitman. Still more tickets to see the Phillies and the Dodgers on Tuesday coming up tonight. Stay by the radio, sit on the telephone, and get set to win. This is the new sound of Y100.
So I can spin records.
Yeah, you could talk him up.
I can do it. And you know what Rick D said to me on the phone about 2 weeks ago?
Hey, Brian, what you used to do in Philadelphia when you were, doing that disc jockey work, can you still do that?
I don't know why he asked me, but he wanted to know if I could still do it. I said, buddy, it's like riding a horse. Yeah, riding a bike, I can do it. You don't forget how to do it.
How would Rick talk up a Kanye West song?
Well, I'd need to hear the Kanye West song, dude. Something like this.
Well, here we go, and let's get right into it. He is so hot right now, raised a lot of controversy at that Katrina telethon, but nonetheless, what a great artist. It's Kanye.
You know what I was told by Kevin Dees during the hour-long conversation we had yesterday?
What?
You just want the isolated quote?
Yeah.
My dad doesn't like to be imitated. I said, all right, there's another good dude I pissed off. All right, so we went to the Apple store, and on the way to the Apple store,
He's jacked up. He's ready to go. I have to pick him up, and he's like, we're going to go down there. We're going to scream at the guys. 2 voices better than one. We're going to get at them. We walk.
Well, my real issue was on the receipt. It says if you've opened the laptop, we charge you to $199 because you opened it. And I said to Bitch Tits Randy Wang, I said, Bitch Tits, I opened it because the sales guy told us it would do what we needed it to do. So of course I opened it to have you hook it up. We opened it. I said, I am not paying this $199. We opened it based on false premises. And that's not crazy.
No, that's not crazy at all. That's exactly the reason that we got it, and exactly the reason we had to return it.
But my fear was that they would make me pay that one effing 90 effing 9 effing 90 effing.
Yeah, 1 effing 90 effing 9 effing. But we got to the Apple store, and Brian's looking around. Who can I talk to about returning something? I got to talk to somebody. And so finally, a guy.
Well, I wasn't shouting.
No, but you weren't loud. But that was the kind of voice you were presenting.
Intense.
Yeah, you were being intense.
Actually, didn't the
guy that came up to us after he directed us to the manager, he told the manager, "Watch out, this guy's intense."
Did he use that word?
Yes.
That's great. See, I love that. I love that. That is great. Honest to God, that is great.
So, yeah, Brian starts talking to this guy, explaining to him, we wanted to do this, and we couldn't we couldn't record the podcast.
And your sales guy told us we could.
And then the guy calmly explained, let me go get the manager. And Brian wasn't even like, no, why can't you help me? And then finally the manager came out. And actually, right before the manager came out, this chick that worked at the Apple store came up to us and said, this hot chick that came up to the Apple store, she came up to us and said, "Are you Brian Whitman?"
And I said, yes, I am Brian Whitman. I shook her hand. I was a gentleman.
Yeah.
I said, have you seen my picture? I mean, I'm not on TV.
No, she said she recognized your voice because you were whining.
I guess that's right. I wasn't doing, if I was doing, are you going to take this back and you're not going to charge me $199? Then she would have said, definitely that's Whitman or Lycus himself. But she recognized my voice because I was at that tenor, that tone that I would get into when I would argue with Conway.
Yes.
And she recognized that. And then what did I do for you?
You said, hey, Randy Wang, look at this guy.
I introduced you because I wanted to get you laid by this hot girl at the Apple store. And what did you do?
I shook her hand and then I turned away.
Dude, why? Why would you do nothing? I mean, she knew me. When I introduced you, she knew you as having been part of the show. She recognized me from screaming at the sales or being intense at the sales guy. I tried to hook up bitch tits, and you just let her walk away, dude.
I totally missed your cue. I totally didn't realize what was
You
going
missed
on.
my cue. You couldn't pick up a cue if it had a handle on it. Oh, I tell you. All right, is that wild? I tell you, this guy couldn't pick up a cue if it had a handle on it. Oh, all right.
I honestly don't know why you didn't even think of pursuing it further than shaking her hand and saying thanks for listening to the show.
That's what I said.
Yeah, we both said it.
Well, because
I don't know why.
Because I wanted to pass her off to you because you've had some problems lately with chicks. You've been abused emotionally, mentally, and economically, financially by chicks. I wanted to
That's true.
I wanted to make it good for you, dude.
Yeah, but I don't know why. At the time, I didn't even think of thinking about that.
Because you're gay. Are you gay?
I am not gay.
But by the way, I have so many really, really good gay and lesbian friends. If you're gay, dude, it does not bother me.
Hey, I get no problem with gay people. I'm just not gay.
Okay, my whole career, people have questioned my sexuality. During my radio career, people hear me on the radio. They hear I'm liberal. They hear me stand up for gay marriage.
I still question your sexuality.
Do you really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. The whole Frosty thing.
The whole Frosty thing? What? Well, the whole Frosty thing. What did I do?
You guys were in a relationship together.
We were in a relationship. Right. Do you want to be sued or you want to retract that?
I'm not going to retract that.
Describe the relationship I was in with Frosty. By the way, Frosty goes down in history, the first person to decline an appearance on the Brian Whitman podcast show. Frosty Stillwell.
Well, when I'm talking about your relationship is over a year ago, you begging him to go see a Jimmy Carter movie with you.
I didn't beg him. I emailed him. And he emailed back and said he wouldn't do it. Not going to do it. Not going to do that. Not going to do that there. Read my lips. Not going to do it. I was looking because I'm a political junkie. I have on my TiVo. We can watch it after the podcast if you want.
No, please, no.
No?
Can I just leave after this?
Do you want to watch tapes of me on cable news doing commentary?
No.
Is there any way we can take those videos of me doing commentary and put them on BrianWhitman.com for people to look at?
No.
We can't?
Not with our current equipment.
How much more is this going to effing cost?
Well, I don't even have a VHS.
I have like 5 VHSs and 7 Betamax.
Yeah, we got to get them transferred to DVDs.
A DVD?
Yeah, you got to take them to like a guy that does that.
I have to take what? The DVR?
No, well, the DVR stuff, that's even...
I have like 12 appearances from CNN on my DVR.
Do you have a TiVo or a DVR? Is it TiVo?
It's TiVo.
Okay, then I can pull those off the DVR.
And people can see me on there?
Yeah, we can cut some stuff.
Doing my talking head, political, funny, little goofy, stupid, I want to be the next Bill O'Reilly shtick.
Yeah, we can put those up. But
I don't want to be the next Bill O'Reilly. I'd like to be the next Bill Maher. I could, right? Maybe I could. In what vein? How would you cast me if we were going to do TV? How would you cast me? No, seriously.
Seriously?
If I said to you, Randy, I want to be on TV, in what direction? Conway was very specific last night on the phone with me. Where would you lead me?
Animation. Totally.
You wouldn't I'm saying put me on TV, not just the voice animation. I've done animation. I've done Celebrity Deathmatch. I did Ronald Reagan.
You did Celebrity Deathmatch?
Oh, yeah.
I love that show.
I did 2 Celebrity Deathmatches. I did, on one of them, I did Ronald Reagan, who was a guest referee. Well, he was supposed to say, let's get it on, but he has Alzheimer's. Or as Randy called it in the car the other day, old timers.
I did not.
You absolutely did. I swear on my honor, you said old timers. Instead of saying, let's get it on, like Mills Lane, on Celebrity Deathmatch as Reagan, I said, let's get it along. And then on the other, what character? I'm blacking out on the other. Geraldo. I did Geraldo.
Oh.
Yes. And
As a fighter?
No, Geraldo was who I forget who was fighting, but Geraldo was there, and I just remember this line from this. We should pull that audio. That's pretty cool. From MTV, non-union work. Please don't tell anybody. But Geraldo says, "Hi everyone, I'm Geraldo Rivera. Is the killer inside? We'll find out in a moment." And they flash away, come back, and then I said something like, "We went into his dark, cavernous, whatever," and then I said, "and found pornography. Under the pornography, under that pornography, we found more pornography." So that's what I did. I used to do Geraldo for Sean Hannity a lot. And then Sean Hannity said to me, "Hey, I love you like a brother. I think you need a couple of months off, buddy. I think you need a couple of months." I said, "Okay, I'll take a couple of months. But just a couple. Could we hook back up in a couple?" And he said, "I love you, man. Just take a little time." I heard that a lot over the last year. Brian, take time for Brian. You've worked your ass off for 18 years. Take some time for Brian. And now I'm ready to work that ass off again. And has the ass come off?
No, not yet.
All right. Let me, hey, yours hasn't either. We're a perfect pair here.
There we go.
Bitch tits Randy Wang, man, who is now, more of the Apple Store. So that's the end of that thing. I tried to hook you up with this chick, and you just let it go. You let it go away.
I totally did not get what you were doing.
How you didn't get it?
Because I thought you were just introducing her because she was a fan of the show.
Right. She said, "Are you Brian Whitman?" I said, "Yes." I shook her hand. I thanked her for listening. And she said, "I've missed you on the air." And I think she said that or something.
Yeah. No, she said you were great in the last show. I listened to the whole thing.
Right. She did say that. And she was very kind. And I went at her. I said, "This is it. I'm going to hook up Wang. I'm going to hook up Bitch Tits." I said, "This is Bitch Tits Wang." No, I didn't. I said, "This is Randy Wang, who's been part of the show for a long time." How long was I there before you got there?
You were there for a year and a half before I came on.
Was I there that long? Yeah. Seems like you were there the whole time.
No, October 06.
Something about you makes it seem like you're around longer than you really have been.
I don't know.
It's not a compliment, dude. But I said, "This is Randy Wang," and I tried to hook it up, and it just couldn't happen. And it infuriated me. And by the way, I got the full refund. I got the $199 and the full deal.
They were very good to us. We didn't even have to explain more than what we did. They were very, very gracious.
I want to thank Megan at the Apple Store. Oh, that Coca-Cola.
Brian.
I have some Diet Cola, little DC. Do you want some DC? Do you have any Diet Cocaine? Now, you know what to say. Yeah, it's like my favorite impression, right? It's close. It's close to. I'll do it as McIntyre. You want any DC? You have any Diet Cocaine?
It only works as Jack.
All right, here we go. You know what to say. You want answers. You want answers.
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth. All right. This is why I wanted to hook you up with the chick at the Apple Store. And I want to thank Megan, the manager at the Apple Store, Sherman Oaks, California. Hello. Sherman Oaks, California. Hello. Can we also take off the TiVo or the DVR? One night I was a little buzzed because when you have when you've been dealt the hand that I've been dealt, sometimes you can't get to sleep. And when you've been taking sleeping pills to sleep and you can't get to sleep, you say, "I got to take one because I'm going to be up all night." So you take one, you get a little loopy, and what do? You call in to Larry King.
You called Larry King?
Got right on. I got right on. And the guy goes like this, "You must have called before. Your question is like perfectly worded." I said, "Dude, I've never called the show before." I said, "I'm a broadcaster. So, I mean, that's maybe why I sound well prepared." He goes, "We'll put you right on." So can we can take that too, right, Brian?
Yeah, we can take it.
All right, let's put Larry King call. Because it was about Joe Biden when he was selected as VP choice for Barack Obama. And by the way, people have emailed about Barack Obama. Brian, do you do Barack Obama? The answer is no, not yet. And maybe never will. I've said on the air that maybe this is an opportunity for like a black dude to be able to do the president.
So this is the first president in how many presidents that you can't do?
Okay, I was born in 1972, and I can do like a passable Richard Nixon. I am not a crook.
That's great.
All right, okay. But I only do that because I'm kind of doing other people doing Nixon. Gerald Ford I can't do, but Chevy Chase couldn't do Gerald Ford. He'd just fall down the airplane steps or through the desk, which was hilarious. Jimmy Carter I never did. Jimmy Carter. I'm Jimmy Carter. Rick Dees does a good Jimmy Carter. And how much do I love Jimmy Carter?
You are in love with Jimmy Carter.
I am in love with Jimmy Carter. When Gerald Ford died, did you see the eulogy that Jimmy Carter gave for Gerald Ford?
No.
This is like, I know this isn't like, FM talk, what you might expect. Jimmy Carter in the final, because when a president dies, there's like 9 funerals. There's a state funeral where George Bush says, America is we had a good man, a good, decent, honorable man in the man Gerald Ford. So he stumbles through that. And like when Reagan died and George Bush Sr. cried, during my 8 years as vice president, I learned more from Ronald Reagan than anyone ever in public life. That's what it sounded like. It's exactly what it sounded like. During my 8 years, we learned courage. We all did. I learned strength. We all did. During my 8 years as his vice president, I learned more from Ronald Reagan than anyone I've ever met in all of public life. So Jimmy Carter does not cry, but he gets to the podium in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where they're doing the last Gerald Ford funeral. And it always breaks me up because when a president dies, like during the inauguration, and I was not on KLSX, and I'm big with inaugurations. I TiVo them. I have it. You want to watch it?
Brian, I'm not going to sit down on the couch and watch something with you.
I have all afternoon.
I don't want to spend any more time with you than I already have to.
Okay, that's an insult. Can I mark it?
That's not an insult.
Can I mark it down as an insult? You insulted me yesterday, refused to go to dinner, saying to Gina Grad, I don't want to go to dinner with you, Brian, because, quote, that would be another hour I'd have to spend with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put down 2 insults, 2 days.
Well, since we started doing this, we spend a lot of time together, and I need some Randy time.
And I give you plenty of Randy time. I call you, you're high, and you hang up on me. And
well, that's the thing. You call.
And then I called Conway. I said, that mother effer hung up on me. We started his mother effing broadcasting career, and he hung up on me. I'm ready to pull the plug on this whole goddamn thing. Conway goes like this. Hey, dude, Babu, he didn't hang up on me, man. He hung up on you, dude. I said, thanks, Tim.
Must be you, man.
Must be you, dude. I swear it's got to be Whitman. But the things, I'm not going to share the things that Tim said to me last night on the phone. Was so nice. He used the F word.
Yeah.
No, not that one. Not the swear word.
Really? The F word?
Yeah, he called me
faggot?
Not that F word. Although he's used that one too, but usually it's he doesn't say. And I love homosexuals. Well, I mean, I don't love you.
You do love homosexuals.
No, I don't.
All right, we got it right down here at 45 minutes into the podcast. Brian loves homosexuals.
I don't love them because they're homosexuals, but I don't. But there are homosexuals who I love.
Like who?
I'm not gonna name them. You.
I'm not a homosexual.
Whatever. He used, I'll give you a last chance. It wasn't the F word, the swear word. It wasn't faggot. It was a complimentary. He said, honest to God, dude, I got to be honest with you. I think of you like
family.
Can you imagine Conway saying that?
That's pretty fucking nice.
Can you even imagine him saying that?
I cannot imagine that.
And he said it. And he said, dude, I'm totally sober.
Though he said that to me a few times.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. I thought it was special. But he said it to me. And then he used the L word.
Loser?
Yep. So where was I? Oh, Gerald Ford. He's dead, and he's in the coffin, and Betty Ford is there looking like she, honest to Christ, needed a drink. And the flag is draped over the coffin, and that's like the hardest part, because when my dad, God bless him, I love you, Daddy, he's in heaven. When he passed away, my dad served in the military. There's a flag over the coffin, and I'm standing there at the cemetery, and the military's there, and they fold up the flag, and they give it to you, and they say, by order of the President of the United States, and they hand you the flag. And you know what? And I didn't cry. I like a soldier. I felt like Lieutenant Colonel Nathan Jessup. I just looked the guy right in the eye with tears in my eyes and listened to him and accepted in my dad's honor the flag. When the guy stepped away and I held the flag,
then you cried.
Waterworks, yeah. So Carter gets to the pulpit, and Jimmy Carter, a man of great peace, Nobel Prize winner, says this. First words he says is, for myself and for our nation, I want to thank my predecessor, Gerald Ford, the deceased, for all he has done to heal our land. And then he says, those were the first words I ever spoke as president. And then he goes on to say that they were political opponents, but they became great friends, and they traveled together. Their wives traveled together. And he went on to describe this beautiful friendship that he said many authors have called it the closest relationship between two former presidents in American history.
Really?
And when Jimmy Carter's and I'm crying watching Jimmy Carter give a eulogy for Gerald Ford. And when Jimmy Carter wraps it up, he said something very beautiful. He said, I'm paraphrasing, and as I end, I would like to end and say that for myself and for our country, I want to thank my predecessor, pause, because big knot in the throat, for all he's done to heal our land. Jimmy Carter gives a great eulogy, so does Ted Kennedy.
Yeah, my brother Bobby does not have to be aggrandized more in death than he was in life. He need only be remembered as a good and decent man who saw wrong and tried to right it, saw suffering, tried to heal it, saw war, tried to stop it. I only need to be remembered as a man who drove a car at an excessive speed, saw the river, hit the brakes in the car, and tried to stop it. And I couldn't stop it, and it went in the water.
And then he said to the police, he went back, he left his assistant or whoever that chick was in the car, Mary Jo Kopechne, God bless her, she's in heaven. He said to the police,
when I returned, Mary Jo and the car were gone.
Yeah, where do you think they were, Senator?
I don't know, maybe underwater.
Unbelievable, although he's very sick, too. He had a stroke, passed out. The dude passed out on Inauguration Day. So, anyway. Okay, I got to get back to you. You're working for John and Jeff on the John and Jeff. You do it better than I do.
I worked for John of the John and Jeff Show. We rock the third shift all night long.
They've come a long way from Buried Alive.
Buried Alive from 3 to 5, and now we're 10 years long, 10 years strong.
Thank you, John. And what's the phone number if people want to call?
877-97 John Jeff. That's 877.
Are you having a stroke? Are you having a stroke? Hold on, Randy. Hold on. No, it's all right, dude. God almighty. No, just sit back. Sit back or try to sit up straight. Out. Just don't. You're swallowing your tongue. Use every muscle you can. Push your tongue out of your mouth. Oh, Christ, he's dead. Randy. Bitch tits.
What just happened?
It's a Brian Whitman podcast show. BrianWhitman.com. $5 a month. You get an entire month of Whitman for $5.
How did I get here?
You drove yourself here in your S car.
What happened?
What do you remember?
I don't know.
I don't remember anything from my first one either.
I remember I was like giving a phone number.
Right, you were giving John and Jeff's phone number.
877-97 John Jeff.
All right, so
that's 877-975-6465.
And then he does the hand
thing, which, of course, is a podcast. And if we had a webcam, which we could set up easily, right?
Very easily.
People could see me?
Yeah, call that Jack Sullivan. He'll help you.
But he sent me a long email. We're starting an internet radio network, so we don't have to have paid subscriptions. And I blacked out 2 paragraphs in. Please, just give me the headline. Give me the mother effing headline. But you think people would like to see me in the backyard looking like I do?
No. Well, yeah, for curiosity and to see your unplucked nose hairs. That's about it.
They were supposed to take care of that at the barber shop. I'm like Andy
You can't
Griffith.
do your own nose hairs?
I can do. You said ear hair.
No, I said nose hair.
I did nose hairs 2 days ago.
I've got 2 sticking out of your nose right now. It's
All right,
been grossing me out the whole show.
Oh, I'm sorry, because I know hygiene is a big deal for you, Mr. Black Shirt, 9 days in a row.
But it's a different black shirt every day.
I don't believe it.
Seriously, I have 10 of these, and I shower twice a day.
Yeah. You do not shower. Well, you have 2 jobs, so maybe you do shower. No, you don't shower before you come here.
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You care enough to shower before you come here?
Yes.
I often do the podcast unshowered.
Thanks a lot.
That's for you, ladies. I often do it unshowered, so I can have that manly scent. Oh, yeah. It's the Brian Whitman podcast show here at brianwhitman.com. Randy Wang has a cushion. He's working for John and Jeff. John, we learned on the Boner Bonus Saturday show, John is a millionaire, so that made me feel like Billy Barty.
I would have never thought that in a million years.
I meant like a dwarf. I felt like a little person. Yeah, I would have never guessed, with all, I don't know, excuse me. I never would have guessed that he was a millionaire.
Obviously, we have...
Because he owns his own show.
He owns his own show.
But I've owned my own business. If I had sold my house 2.5 years ago and rented this house, which we're podcasting from, which I live in, and this house was available for rent, I'd be a mother effing millionaire.
Oh, boy. But the thing with John is...
But I waited and the market went down, but I still made a profit. It's all right, man.
You said this on the Saturday Boner show.
Boner bonus
show.
Because you got a radio boner. Wacky.
That's Saturday Bone Show. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. They do Saturday Bone Shows. Wacky.
Oh, my God. You do that so much better than I do.
I should have done it on the air, right? I never did it on Conway.
You've never, ever done Cartman on the air.
Really?
We never even referenced South Park on the air.
It's not South Park. It's South Park.
Yeah.
South
Park.
Right.
I know.
We never referenced South Park. South Park.
Yeah.
All right, so bitch tits, where were we?
But John, the guy does, like you said, he knows the ins and outs of the business of radio.
Right, like I said to him here on the podcast, I think I said 95% of the guys in radio, all they know how to do is sit and talk into a microphone, and half of them don't even know how to do that. Drive through have you ever taken a cross-country trip? I have. I drove with my best friend's sister across the country. My best friend's sister. Never. Separate hotel rooms the whole time. But you know what hotel we stayed at in Little Rock, Arkansas? The Excelsior. And you know what happened there? Hey, hi, are you Paula Jones? I'm Governor Bill Clinton. It's good to see you. Have you met my penis? Allegedly, that's where that happened, so I had to stay there for a little nostalgia.
Isn't it sad that the two chicks that Bill got caught with
are both
pretty unattractive?
Monica's not bad. I ever tell you my Monica story?
No.
Oh, write that down, too. I have met Monica Lewinsky. She knows who I am. Her father is a listener. I don't know if... Do we have a subscription from Dr. Bernard Lewinsky?
No.
No, but he might come around. The Brian Whitman podcast show at brianwhitman.com. How are things working with John and Jeff at night, buried alive from 10 to 2?
It's a pretty easy gig. Honestly, last night, I'll tell you this.
Do you do for them what you did for Conway and Whitman?
Not even close.
No, but
I run the board for them.
That's
and
what I mean.
Run the network spots, and then I sit in the room with them and just hang.
Right. The difference between John and Jeff and Conway, there are a lot of differences between Conway and Whitman and John and Jeff, but John and Jeff is a national show, so you have to hit tones and hit hard breaks so that the affiliates coming down the line can run their local spots for the local hardware store before we get back to our John and Jeff on AM 920.
But yeah, I'm working for them, and basically,
I would like. John seems like a decent guy to work for.
He's a decent. They're nice guys to work for, and it's an easy gig because I'm just running the board. I'm not producing a show like I produce for you guys.
Do you participate on the air?
No.
Does Jeff participate on the air?
Not very often.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly John talking at Jeff, but hey, the guys are
speaking with him or speaking at him?
Speaking at him.
All right. Does Jeff, John and Jeff here, remember that?
Hey, it's John and Jeff here, rocking the third shift.
Does Jeff, when John talks at Jeff, does Peanut Butter Jeff, because that's what it sounded like, does he respond?
Yes, every once in a while, but he does a lot of nodding, and that's the one thing you don't do in radio.
Yeah, you can't nod in radio. You can't nod in radio. You just can't. You can't do it. You can't shake your head yes or shake your head no in radio. You have to speak. Your answers have to be heard. Is an audio medium. Come on. See, now I'm doing Rick Dees, and you know what I hear in my head?
God dang it.
No, I hear his son on the phone last night, Kevin Dees, who I spoke to. Hey, Brian. Hey, what's up, buddy? And we talked, and 45 minutes into the conversation, he said, my dad doesn't like to be imitated. And I said, Kevin, I know your dad is not crazy about it, but he's always been pretty cool about it, and it's never been done in a mean way or to hurt him, and so he's cool. Kevin's going to come by. I think Kevin's an interesting dude, so we're going to get Kevin Dees in here just to talk about what would it be like. It broke me up on Rick Dees' final show. I was in the studio there, and it broke me up because Rick's whole family was there. I was crying. I told you it was on Channel 7, so if you ever want to see me cry on camera, that was on ABC 7. When Rick was signing off, tight shot of me with the waterworks. But Kevin was on, and Rick didn't cry. And Rick said to me on his last show after 22 years at Kiss FM, he said, "You know what? I'm not going to cry. They want to see me cry. The cameras would love to see me cry. I promise, Brian, I'm not going to cry." I said, "You be strong, buddy. You'll be all right." When did Rick's eyes fill up to the point where I said, "Uh-oh, here it comes"? He was talking to his son Kevin on the air, and Kevin said, "Dad, you know what I'm going to miss most about you not being on in the morning on the radio?" And Rick said, "No, buddy." And Kevin said, "I'm going to miss waking up, turning on the radio, and not knowing that you're okay." Because he'd turn on the radio, he'd hear his dad, he'd say, "Okay, my dad's at work, he's okay."
Yeah, that'd be painful to hear.
And when I heard that, waterworks, I could hardly take that. But Rick made it through. Rick made it through that. I want to talk about the chick who exploited you, but we'll do that on the next podcast, okay?
Yeah, and a quick couple things about John and Jeff that you're referencing is the things I like about working for them.
All right, you don't have to kiss their ass. You're getting the money.
No, here we go. The things I like from them. Number one, last night I ran their show.
I'm sorry,
the things I like about working for them.
We try full sentences here on the podcast. We don't require full sentences, but on the Brian Whitman podcast show, we strive for full sentences, not fragments.
Senses?
Did I say sentences?
You said senses.
I was talking about senses like smelling and tasting and yeah. We strive for all senses. We try to use all senses: hearing, seeing, smelling, touching. Just shut up and bitch tits. What is it?
Okay, so a couple things I like about working for John and Jeff is number one, I was completely stoned when I ran their show last night, and no problem.
You shouldn't say that on the podcast.
Why?
It lives forever on the internet.
Who cares?
So you're stoned at work,
dude. I'm very, very open about my pot smoke.
I'm Randy Wang, and I'm at work stoned. Did John? And by the way, John's a pretty conservative dude. Did John know you were high?
No.
If John knew you were high, might he talk to you about it?
Probably.
And
but I wasn't completely stoned. I mean, I had pot in me because I was at Adam Carolla's party a couple hours before.
Adam Carolla's party?
Yeah, he threw a big party for the whole staff last night.
Oh, just for the morning show staff?
Yeah, at his house, which is beautiful.
Oh, I'm sure it is. He deserves nothing less. I did a lot of funny bits on his show. I did them all for free, and we had a lot of really nice phone conversations. There was, for a while, some talk about the King of the Damaged joining the Ace Band in the morning. We talked about it.
Yeah.
But why wasn't I? I wasn't a regular on the show, so I wasn't invited.
Well, yeah, you weren't a regular. I mean, it was just the staff.
Were other people who did impressions on the show invited?
No.
Okay, so I feel fine.
It was just the staff.
Go ahead, bitch tits.
And yeah, the other things about John and Jeff is every day you get to hear a new Johnism, which is, when John totally mispronounces a word.
Like we did on Saturday, child support.
Yeah, the new one is, you need to withdraw your money from the bank.
If he listens, is he a subscriber?
He's not.
He's a millionaire. He can't give me $5. F him. So say more. He said he goes to the bank and he withdraws.
I withdraw money.
Now, when you hear that, you got to laugh. Your mic's off, obviously, right? Oh, no, you're in the same room as him.
I'm in the same room.
So you can't laugh.
I can't laugh, but also the greatest thing about working for them is...
but you know what he's pronouncing? Hold on to the greatest thing. He's pronouncing it right. With, W-I-T-H-D-R-A-W-A-L. It is withdrawal.
Withdrawal. He holds on to the L for a while.
So it's a little Tom Brokaw on the end.
Yeah.
Tom Brokaw. Well, see, everything I need, Tom Brokaw.
Withdrawal.
Troops will withdraw from Afghanistan.
Make sure you withdraw your money so you can pay your child support around the world.
There, thank you, John, for coming by. John of the John Jeff Show. If you want to call them, they're not on in Los Angeles, but you can listen at johnjeff.com.
And you can call 877-97 John Jeff. And here's the greatest thing about working for them is you get to hear the prank calls before we dump them. So we had a guy call in last night, and he was calling from Sacramento. He says, "Hey, John and Jeff, I love your guys' show. I listen all the time at johnblowsjeff.com."
I'm guessing that was that didn't get on.
That did not make it to the air, but it was pretty special.
Who hits the dump button, you or John?
I hit the dump. Hey, I'm a dump button professional. I did it for 2 years for Adam Carolla.
All right, don't get bitch tits. Don't get crazy. But John has a dump button of his own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of. He has to reach over to hit it.
Mr. KABC, who now hates me and won't return my phone calls, please, he's a subscriber.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. Dude, I love you, Mark. I would never try to hurt you. Please call me. I beg you to call me. I don't beg for friends. I'm begging you to call me. I would never hurt you. All right, so John is pronouncing withdrawal. It's just heavy on the L's at the end. I thought, I want to talk about the chick and Monica Lewinsky, and we got to get my Larry King call. That'll be coming up in a couple of days. Who else is going to be on the show? I said, with you, Doug McIntyre.
I think I'm dying, Brian.
Think? Frank Kramer, Jamie White, Stephanie Miller. I was on her late night television show.
Stephanie Miller?
You ever see the tape?
No.
Maybe we put it up on the web. I want to get to a point where we have on the left, where you have the options like free samples, and then you'll put archives on the left.
Uh-huh.
I'd like to put Brian on camera as an option so people could click and see my bald face like on CNN or Fox News or Dennis Miller or Stephanie Miller or whatever. So we can do that, right?
Yeah, just any VHSs you have to get transferred to DVDs. The TiVo stuff I can pull off just by bringing my laptop.
I have a DVD. We have Brian on camera. It used to be on my website, Brian on camera.
All right, then I'll throw those up.
All right, I want people to see that, but I also want people to hear me calling Larry King, Los Angeles, California. Hello. Hi, Larry. This is a question for anyone on the panel. I was so
Oh, God.
I was so buzzed. It was great. Okay, it's the Brian Whitman podcast show. We do it every day. We do it every day. When I swallow a word, I repeat it. We do it every day, Monday through Friday. It's downloadable, so you can put it on your iPod, burn it to a CD. I've gotten emails from people who say, got someone today from Greece. Did you get that email?
No.
All right. Check your Facebook stuff. She's going to contact you. She lives in Greece. She's tried 2 times to pay. She says, I've tried twice to give you my money. I'm in Greece. I need my Whitman. So can you get me the $5 to get us the $5?
Yeah.
By the way, people think Randy works for free. You don't work for free.
I do now.
You made money so far.
Until it's in my bank account, I haven't made any money.
Well, what did I give you that you tore up?
A check for $100.
Right. Randy went out and bought some stuff. I thought he, put some time in. I wrote him a check for $100. And I'm unemployed.
Yeah.
For God's sake. I'm unemployed, for God's sake. But maybe not. I got a great email yesterday about maybe a big voice, maybe a big regular voice thing for network.
Oh.
Radio network. So I'm looking into that, man. But I'll still do the effing podcast because it's fun, man. And maybe a webcam so people can see me. Would you show your bitch tits? Lift up your black shirt. Would you take off your shirt and show your bitch tits on the webcam?
They're already on the internet.
I know, but could you do it on the webcam for our subscribers?
Sure. And by the way, you know that chick that we're going to talk about tomorrow?
Yeah?
She's obsessed with my bitch tits.
She's seen them?
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Does she know I call you bitch tits?
No.
Wow. Okay, that's a hell of a tease. It's the Brian Whitman podcast show every day, Monday through Friday, just $5 for an entire month of Whitman. I'm going to repeat it. I don't care. I don't give an S if you don't like to hear it. Tell your friends. I'm doing a plug for the show.
I turned my mic off.
Well, we still heard it. Do me a favor. When you've been diagnosed, as you have been with SARS, call in sick or call Jerry Gomez. Nice going, Jack. And tell him to come and do it. All right?
He lives in Lakewood.
I don't want SARS, dude.
You got it.
It's the Brian Whitman Podcast Show at brianwhitman.com. Tell your friends, $5 a month. You pay on PayPal, and I believe you're supposed to be instantly activated.
Instant.
But I don't know that that's happening. People are sending emails, having a little trouble, and I send them right to you. Technical problems, randywang2@gmail.com. If you want to email me, my email address is my name, emailwhitman@gmail.com. This is the Brian Whitman Podcast Show at brianwhitman.com.